Okay, we're recording. Oh, I've never done this. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Kona. I'm coming from Taos Pueblo, New Mexico, the farthest northern tribe here in New Mexico. I'm here with the beautiful Maya. Um, I am so honored and privileged to be speaking to you all about um, the importance of herbs and traditional medicines and how that relates to our Mother Earth and our Father Sky and all of our seven elements. And this is just really exciting because I'm excited to dive deep into our conversation. Um, and I guess that's a little bit just about who and what I am, other than I'm a Taos Pueblo youth advocate. I work alongside with Earth Guardians. I'm super passionate and honored to just be of service to humankind, especially my Indigenous people, as well as being inspired to be inspired. So without further ado, hi Maya, how are you?
Hi, Kona. I'm also feeling really honored to be speaking alongside you because you're very inspirational. And to everyone here for this Earth Day live event. So yeah, this message is pre-recorded, but we're already thinking about Earth Day because every day is Earth Day, of course. But yeah, I think to introduce myself, I just would want to say, Nyoka Ksutin Maya, Nyoka Kani Quechua Nyoka Tiawi Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Pachican Cuna. My name is Maya, and um, I'm Quechua on my father's lineage, and I'm calling from or speaking from Albuquerque, New Mexico, originally Tiwa territory, and yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone for being part of this event. Um, we're going to be speaking today about tinctures and syrups. Kona and I, we both really like have this urge to like communicate and like take care of like our plant relatives, and at the same time allow our plant relatives to take care of us. So we want to talk a little bit about ethical tincture and syrup making, and how to do that, and yeah, maybe Kona wants to share something else. If not, I can talk more about that, but yeah, Kona,
Yeah,
would
no,
you like anything else to say?
that no, that's really, really good. We just want to touch base on how that relates to the protection of our Mother Earth and how important it is to protect what you may think as weeds. There's here in New Mexico a lot of dandelion or nettles, or just wild flowers that turn into weeds that the majority of the population um, really just labels that. And so they put Roundup, they'll put pesticide control on different plots of the area, and that's really obviously really unsafe, really hazardous, and we have to really protect the fact that these elements are specifically here for a reason, right? I mean, each plant, each herb, each insect, each animal, each living organism, living being is here specifically for a reason. And we have to protect each other. We have to be the voice for those who don't have a voice. Um, and so that's kind of how I want to play out a little bit today on um, on Earth Day, because like Maya said, every day is Earth Day. And it's important to give and receive. This is the give and the receiving. And so for me, plants really called me when I was really young, because I knew that each one had a significant benefit that could help my community and communities all across Turtle Island. Um, and it's just really beautiful to see how it plays out, right? I mean, Maya, like, I know that you're in the same community as well. Like, what have you come across?
Mhm. Yeah, something that you made me think of when you were talking just now is how like a lot of people um let's say for example, they'll notice there's like a plant, they'll misclassify it as like a weed or like a pest, right? And so then they'll use like strong chemical products, and that really damages not just that current plant but also like the reproduction of that plant and like the soil health. And so I'm thinking, when you were mentioning that, I was thinking about how plants find us for a reason. You know what I mean? So if you're noticing something around you, it's really important to tune into actually what that plant is trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And it made me think of this one time. It was when I was first starting to learn really about like the different kind of plants that were native to the areas that I was living in. And at the time I was in Lenape Hoking on New York, and there's mugwort like all over New York, you
Wow.
know, and mugwort is known to calm, to aid in sleeping and rest, right? So then I was with a relative, and my sister was saying how mugwort knows that the city is like very like energetic and like, and so it's kind of like signaling that we need to like, you know, all give bodies a rest and like not, you know, there's a lot of anxiety in cities often, and a lot of just like over, I guess like a lot of commotion and like overstimulation. So it really taught me like when I remember hearing about that, and I just felt like sharing it because it made me think about like, well, I think if we stopped and actually paid attention instead of trying to um
Exactly.
like just, you know, classify it as this, or just like just because it seems annoying, or you've heard bad things about it, or you know, like you really have to take the time to like actually understand what the message is that the plant is telling us, because I think that it can not only help us treat earth better, but also it can give us signals, it can signal messages that we ourselves and us as a collective need
Yeah.
to hear.
Yeah.
So I think that's like something that that has been guiding me too, and paying attention and like what what we should really be looking out for, not like what to control or what to like make more attractive, but we should be paying attention to like what the things that are growing, what they are really around us,
Exactly.
not just on the floor but like above us too, like the trees and yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point that you speak about, because I've had that realization so many times, where I've now just said, look at what's in your yard. Like, is it milk thistle? You know, it's like, is are you dealing with liver problems, you know, liver issues? You know, it's like the earth knows what it needs to give you. And unfortunately, we're not, you know, reciprocating that, but it's still trying its best. It's still trying to give us that pharmacy that we need. And I feel like that was, that point that you have made, like, was the main reason why I created my business, which is Kona's Pharmacy with an F. So instead of PH, like pharmaceutical Western medicines, it's with an F, because I was born and raised in you know, in a farming community. And so at a young age, I was adapted to that. I knew how to channel the water. I knew what it meant that the sequias are dry, you know, our ditches, when there's not a good runoff, and then how can we pray during the winter, and how everything aligns in a specific way just for a good harvest and just for a better tomorrow. And so um yeah, like I said, you know, at a really young age, I learned how to germinate a seed, and to know what good soil feels like, and to really sit with that, and then sit with the pain as well, because earthwork is not easy, you know, and that's majority of the reason why we've, as the human race, have stopped, because it's rough to get up every morning at a certain time, at the crack of dawn, and to go to your fields, and to work on that land until a certain time, and then do that again and again and again and again. um, and I'm just trying to, as a youth of this generation, I'm just really trying to bring that awareness to my other fellow peers, um, that the earth knows exactly what it's doing. And and um, you know, everything that we see, everything that we need is already here, or else it wouldn't be here, especially in
Yeah.
our region, right? Because it's really important to note that, to always see those things, especially if you're traveling to different places, to pay homage and to pay respects to the ancestors that were there before you, and to the plants, and to the like I said before, the other living things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So one thing that Kona and I wanted to talk about, and kind of just segues perfectly into what we're currently talking about, is well, we wanted to talk about bear root, or one of the names is Osha root, which maybe you may have of. It's been quite popular, I would say, or common,
Yeah.
common name, and a lot of people who are into herb work, and making. And I just wanted to start the
Oh,
conversation there. Osha.
wait, I'm over here. Okay. Yeah.
And hi Osha. And I wanted to talk about how I was built my relationship with it, because Osha is, to start off with, it's pretty rare. Like, it's endangered and it's over harvested, and it's a very strong plant. I mean, even root, I'm sorry. It's even the smell, like if you could smell like what was just in front of the screen, it's very like intense in a good way, of course, I mean. Um but it's very powerful is what I'm, alluding to. And when I first heard about Osha, I was really far from where Osha traditionally, or bare root traditionally, um, is found. I was in New York because this was, where I was raised. And I just remember like always having like a lot of respect for it, because the relative, my uncle who had some and shared some with me, would always like tell us that it's like very hard to come by. It's very hard, and I never really like always like respected it, and was just kind of like, wow, like I would love to one day work more with OSHA, because of the fact it was over harvested. It made me like, because I just wanted to like, like it to like, to not be. So I want to work with it so I can like plant with it and cultivate it, and or just support people who are doing that. Anyways, and then a few years later, I relocated to Tiwa territory, to the southwest, to New Mexico. And just like putting that out there, like I remember just praying about like how I actually really wanted to work more with OSHA. And especially this was, because I had moved right after the pandemic, pretty much. So I remember like when the pandemic was starting, I was like, really thinking about OSHA, and really thinking about how like it could like help a lot of the respiratory problems that are happening nationally, and internationally. And I was thinking about what OSHA would have to say about that, and how like that medicine, how that root can like help us out. So I remember like shortly after moving, there was a woman who was just always had that bear root with her, and she said that was her medicine. And I don't know, I just like, I don't want to, I guess, share too much, but essentially what happened was I actually learned how to harvest bear root in a really like ethical way, from someone who was like actually from that region. And I guess why I'm sharing this is because it's like plants, like the natural world, roots, like it finds you, but you really have to like not like impose yourself, you know what I mean? Because I never was like, I'm gonna go on, I'm gonna find bear root, and I'm gonna, like, it actually just like literally was like, knock knock, like let's go harvest, and then I am still learning in that process too, of like how to like harvest it on my own. And
Mhm.
one thing for starters, and this was, I even knew this like the very first conversations I had about it, was that since it's bare root medicine, you leave it alone during the winter months. You know what I mean? Like that's just like one of the first things I remember hearing about it. And I think that's like, for me, that like symbolizes like what, like this whole culture of like consummation, even like food, which is a big one, like how eat seasonally, you know what I mean? Like we don't have to have access to herbs, to roots, to foods, to like fruits, all the time. And then even like while learning that, I realized the same thing goes with people. You know what I mean? Like we have to like be like, it's a very like, I guess it's like a circle, like it's like you can't just like have complete access to something all the time. And I think as like an herbalist, that's something that's like absolutely fundamental to know. And like that lesson is just like still like carried with me. And yeah, and yeah, just want to see if Kona has anything else to say, but
Yeah.
I know she also works with bare root, and I'm interested in what she has to say about like the first time she was learning how to harvest or learning about the root.
Yeah, so our mountains here on the Pueblo are ours, and so they're closed off to any outside harvesting, outside hunting, outside anything basically. And I'm really really fortunate for that, because even though in the outside world, OSHA is very scarce, and that does really
Mhm.
break my heart because it shouldn't be like that. But unfortunately, it is to a lot of mainstream industries, just like sage and white sage and cedar. It's been mobilized. It's been very spoken about to the point where everybody needs it. And so a lot of storefronts I'm noticing are starting to sell a lot. Um, and yes, they are considered, herbal stores, but at what extent, because it's not thought out, it's not prayed over, it's not how I was taught to do these certain things. But I grew up with this plant always in my house. I was always um, taught to just carry that always in your medicine bag. Um, and it was kind of like a first aid herb. Without me knowing that it was a first aid herb, it was, because you can pull out a root and you can chew it. Like Maya was saying, for the respiratory, it's good for like bad breath. It's good for like stomach aches. It's good for protection. And it's good in teas and waters just for in general overall use. But a lot of the times when I used to go out, it lives really, really, really far away. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It lives really, really far away and really up high in the mountains. And I think honestly that it's protecting itself, because I feel like the herbs, plants are alive, and I don't really see an argument with that. Plants are alive, and that's just that. So I feel like they know how to protect themselves to a certain extent, and so I feel like it did travel up higher and higher just because they knew that um, the majority of the population wouldn't be walking and going to collect these things, unless you were that true one that understands that you have to work really hard for what you want. And it's the same with earth, it's the same with the earth work, like I was speaking about. It's not easy, but it's like I feel as though society has made things come so fast, so quickly, so like now, 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 but that's not how we were raised as people. We're supposed to put in a little bit of effort in order to receive. Like I was saying once again, that giving and receiving. Um, and so right now, as of right now, this is what I have. And until I can go and harvest again when the time is right, um, I'm okay with this, and I'm content
Mhm.
with this. And when people come to me asking for medicine, I'm not stingy. Um,
Mhm.
I'm not saying, oh, this is the only thing that I have, and this is all that I have, and this is the end of the world, because I know if I take care of this plant, it's going to take care of me.
Mhm.
It's going to come, like you said, Maya, like it's going to come knocking at my door when the time is needed, when the universe, whatever, higher beings that you believe in is going to come, and that's going to, be the time that you need it. Um, but right now, I don't have it with me, but I'll usually make like either like apple cider vinegar tinctures, like glycerin. It's like this weird goopy
Mhm.
stuff. Or I'll use sometimes majority of the time, which is this is like 97% proof um, liquor that helps preserve and concentrate and pulls like extracts the herb. And this is actually made from spring water that's from our valley, not our Taos Pueblo Valley, but like our next door neighbors. So like this is the cleanest and the purest that I could find around me. And I don't ever want to advocate anything other than the most cleanest, purest water, the most cleanest, purest herbs, the most purest, cleanest intentions and thoughts and feelings around the work that I do. Because it's important, you're initially giving ancient traditional medicines back to our people, back to me, back to my family, and it goes back to like treating others the way that you would like to be treated. And I do feel like that's the same with earth. you know, treat the earth the way that you would want to be treated. You know, it's like, if that's not your trash, pick it up anyways, you know. um if you see something floating around, pick it up anyways, recycle it, make something creative out of it. You know, I've been recycling this jar for, I don't know, 2 years maybe. Like, it's been a while, and I recycle all of my jars. And that's just the beauty of the work that I do, is just it's just taking care of each other, and you can feel it, you can
Yeah.
feel that reciprocity. Yeah. So how?
Yeah, I loved Kona what you said about not being stingy too, because even when I was invited by this like relative to go harvest oshas, like I felt like, wow, like first I just felt like, okay, honored too, of course, but then at the same time, like I just always remember how, like, even before she actually invited me to harvest, she would say, like, does your community need, because I know that you can't get this in New York, because even though I was living in Tiwa and
Mhm,
am still living in Tiwa, she knew where I was from. And
mhm.
so her first, like I remember the first conversations we had around that was like, do you need some to bring back to your community? And I feel like that's like something that's like what I like love about being Native, out of the many things, is like we're always looking out for each other.
Yeah.
Like for me, like um, like I was mentioning, I'm half Quechua, right? And so one of the Quechua people's like main herbal, I guess, medicines remedies is the coca leaf. And the coca leaf is like, it's not like it's over harvested, but one thing about it is that it is very hard to come by because of the politicalization of it and the criminalization of it, because of its association with cocaine, even though it is not cocaine and it is not a drug. So
They're like
if
two
I had some
different.
here, it's because I actually, yeah, they're completely different, like opposite
Night and
ends of the
day.
spectrum. One is destructive and bloody and terrible, and the other one is like life-giving, light, like medicine, like. And it's also like, it also actually helps with respiratory, funny enough, and a bunch of other things. Like gives you, coca is good for giving you energy, coca is good for staying awake, and that's actually like our people, like we're like a lot of Quechua people are miners, so that has become a very heavily associated medicine for specifically for miners, because it keeps them up when they work, because they work like long hours and often during the night. So what I want to share too is like, I just know, like if I have coca here, which I do like carry some always because it's part of my medicine bundle, it's because like someone went through a really hard time getting past customs to make it all the way from the Andes mountains to New York. And several times that someone has been me. Like I've been like questioned for bringing coca like from South America to here. I've been um I've been put aside on lines. I've had coca thrown away in front of my face in TSA airports, in the airports, sorry, from TSA. And I remember the first time that I had that happen to me, where it was just like they took my suitcase, opened it, and threw away all the coca I had brought. I literally cried because I just felt like it was like something that like indigenous people have been faced with for a while, is also, which is like another conversation too, but I feel like it's important to have because it's very interconnected to this conversation of how our natural medicines are also have been made to be like illegal and criminalized, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what I'm saying is like, I just remember like her being so open to sharing the osha, like I was like, it's like probably like how I would just be so open to sharing coca, because nothing is ours at the same time, you know. And I just think that it's like, but it takes a person really, it takes for someone to like really think about like how to know where the line is, because I feel like there is a line there, you know. Like I did it once and I'm not sure when the next time I'll do it again is, but like Gona had said about she's okay with whatever she has, it's like I feel the same way, you know, because it's like you don't just ask mother, right? You like listen more than anything.
Yeah.
Someone said to me the other day, and I thought this was so like funny, so I just want to share it on this recorded message. Creator gave us two ears, two eyes, two nostrils, and one mouth.
Yeah,
So
I've heard of that.
I was like, wow.
Right? It
Funny.
makes sense. Like, we just have, we have to, yeah, it just makes sense. And that's something that I was always taught, is just like listen. And you know what? Like, as I've always been made fun of the way that I think, but it's like even sitting with a plant and listening to that plant, like it's gonna tell you something. It's gonna really like sit down with you and say, "Oh, you want to have this conversation." And sometimes it's a more profound conversation than with an actual human being where they're speaking this language, right? And I love that because I want to advertise, I want to advocate um the understanding of doing those certain things and normalizing it. Like so many times where people have come to me and say, Kona, like, um, I'm not feeling good, or I want to get a simple, like, let me give an example of like a simple remedy of like dandelion root. That's a overgrown weed, but actually you can use literally the whole entire plant, and for each and every little thing is going to be different, but something that is a common use for it is making dandelion root coffee,
Mm.
for people who are trying to reduce their caffeine intake, their coffee intake, but still need that taste and that craving and everything. And it literally tastes like a mocha coffee. It's so delicious and it's so yet
Yeah.
nutritional because it has, your vitamin D, your vitamin A, your vitamin E. Like it has so many amazing benefits that the list goes on and on and on. But to really um, sit with those, you know, those questions and those thoughts and those answers and those plants and everything like that. I'm trying to inspire the younger generation that it doesn't have to be just me. Like I want you to go out and I want you to to harvest, like come on like the boat with me and like let's do this together. Let's teach each other. Let's make a better tomorrow for each other initially. Like
Yes.
let's make a grand community again, like let's do these little things that our ancestors fought so hard for.
Yeah. I love that. I love that, Kona. And I think that's like a really good place also to like, I guess, I don't like to say end, but until next time, continue the conversation or pause the conversation. Because it really is just about like paying more attention and listening and being good to each other and to ourselves. And I like that too. Like I just like how like me and you were like, let's talk about herbs. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
anything about anything on Earth Day, could talk about the dams. I could talk about the the oil extraction in the Amazon. It's like pipelines, but it's like really like it's really good to just tune in words. And I love what you said in the beginning about like what do you see in your backyard, right? Because that's like the closest to you in proximity. And even just there, you can do a lot. You can learn a lot, and you can act and be like like an earth guardian and a plant
Mhm.
guardian, and a air guardian. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to share for now. But
Yeah.
pleasure to talk to you and to share with all of everyone listening.
Yes, thank you everyone. I hope that you have an amazing blessed day, evening, afternoon, night. um Always be kind to one another and yourself, and just know that we're here and we're strong and we're resilient and we're powerful and we can do whatever we put our minds to. um, and just to be kind, be kind to the ones that don't have a voice. Thank you so much, Maya, for sitting with me and conversing. This was really fun. A good way to celebrate Earth
Yeah.
Day for sure, because this is my whole life. I just
Mhm.
love. It's just so yummy. Um, but yeah, until next time, I think. So thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Bachi.